I was watching the movie Pulp Fiction, and that scene where Uma Thurman and John Travolta go back to the apartment, and there's a really nice reel-to-reel in the wall of that apartment. I think it's a TIAC X2000, and I thought, wow, I want one of those.
This is the Press Play Podcast, brought to you by Real Resilience.
John Farrar of Righteous Reels, summing up one of the reasons we all love open reel tape machines. We'll be hearing more from John and his range of reels for all open reel tape recorders later on, as he's my guest in this episode. Now we've hit a mini milestone, and I'm pleased you're able to share in it. We're 10! I have to admit, when compared to other, shall we say, mass market podcasts, for them reaching that number is probably no trouble at all. But for me, fitting the recording and production in around the million and one other things I have to do in running Real Resilience and just living, I'm proud to have reached that number. You see, it's only me who does this. I don't have ranks of researchers and producers in a back office somewhere. But what I have had is the privilege to have talked to some good people from across the world who have been kind enough to give up their time and talk to me about an aspect of tape or tape recorders or recording to tape. And I thank them all and wish them every success in their hobby, passion or business connected with the format. If you want to be part of an upcoming episode, then do please drop me a line. Perhaps you represent a company producing a product connected with tape or tape recorders, a recording artist or record company using the format to create music, or an individual passionate about these machines we love. So do please drop me a line. Using the submission form on the Real Resilience website is probably the best way. You can find it on the front page under the Inquiry Book a Repair tab. And the address is www.realresilience.co.uk. That's www.realresilience.co.uk. Staying with the website, I've recently added another free document to the download section. This one is on tape editing. Back in my BBC days in the 1990s, I spent 2 years training reporters on the aspects of their job, one of which was tape editing. I've had to delve deep into my cobweb memory of doing this training and then to put it down on paper. You know, it's a bit like tying shoelaces. We all know how to do it, but try explaining that to someone. The gallery has been added to as well, more tape recorder art with, hopefully, a few tips for you too. I'm also pleased to announce that Real Resilience can now support machines using half-inch wide tape. A 2-track mastering machine using this tape width is really the ultimate in quality you can get from tape, that wide recording track making for a great signal-to-noise ratio. But this tape format was also used on budget multi-track machines too, Tascam amazingly managing to squeeze 16 tracks across that width. That's a track width that's less than 1/8 the width of a single track on a 2-track machine. Imagine that. Many repair houses are geared to 1/4 inch, and I'm sure they do a great job. Real Resilience is of course set up for 1/4 inch too, and I also work on the big stuff, the 2-inch 24-track recorders found in studios. But I've noticed that owners of half and 1-inch machines don't have that much choice, so I've decided to address it. Be it a 2-track or multi-track machine using half-inch tape, we can now support it. We now also sell the second oil recommended by Studer for the lubrication of their capstan motors. I've been selling PDP 65 oil in the shop, and it's now our biggest seller. So to complement this, I've added GLY 2100. Before purchasing, go to the download section of the Real Resilience website and download Studer Protocol 174. This document details the type of oil you need to use depending on the age of your Studer or Revox. And lastly, the newsletter came out last month. If you wish to receive a copy in your email inbox, again go to the Real Resilience website, but this time click on the newsletter tab and add your details. This episode of Press Play very much deals with the visual, which may seem strange considering Open Reel is a sound format, but pretty much since the visual media started, I reckon tape machines have made an appearance. Aesthetically, they've just got it. Those big reels turning, the meters moving, the lights flashing. Well, you don't need me to tell you, but you can see the attraction for a film director to use one on their set. Our guest interview this episode is a person who addresses the visual image of the tape recorder. John Farrar runs Righteous Reels, based in Dalton, Pennsylvania, where he produces a range of, simply awesome aluminium reels for tape machines. John opened the discussion with a question to me, and we led off from there.
How is it that you found me?
Your company popped up on Facebook, if I remember. Somebody passed on, I've got my tape machine, and people going, wow, where did you get the reels from? That's how I found you.
That Facebook reel-to-reel enthusiast group is my only advertising. I put stuff on eBay, and I do shameless self-promotion on that.
That's what you got to do.
Exactly. That reel-to-reel enthusiast group.
Tell me your background in tape machines and tape recorders. How did you get into it?
Well, I've been a musician all my life, and back in the day, let's say back in the 80s, bands that I was in, we would get old like Wall and Sax and record ourselves, and then eventually got a good Akai, what was really good at the time. Then for years, I just didn't do anything with tape at all. I mean, that was just in the past. But the way that I got into it recently was, believe it or not, I was watching the movie Pulp Fiction for like the 100th time. And that scene where Uma Thurman and John Travolta go back to the apartment and she's about to OD. And there's a really nice reel-to-reel in the wall of that apartment. I think it's a TIAC X2000, and I thought, wow, I want one of those. And so then I went on the lookout for some nice reel-to-reel machines, and I found some. Because of that, I got the idea to do something with the reels that was, new and different, and able to do custom work. And I just thought it would be an interesting project because I like functional art, which is really what I've done for the last 30 years. Was in woodworking. I was making functional art and selling it through galleries all over the States. So I'm into functional art, and the reels just seem like another perfect opportunity.
Have you got a metalworking background? You said functional art, but these reels, and I'm looking at your website now, and they are beautiful. Incidentally, it's righteousreels.com. That's RITHTEOUS reels.com. You've got reels there for 5-inch, 7-inch, 10.5-inch, and some of your designs are just absolutely fantastic. I mean, I just looked at the 10.5-inch reels. You've got ones that are beautiful metal etchings like the Oompa Loompa, which seems a series of circles all around it. But the ones that amazes me is you've also got almost like graphics or color graphics behind the reel. Have you got a metalworking background as well as a design background?
I don't have a metalworking background, but I do. It was a coincidence that I got this idea for the reels, and I have access to a metal cutting laser. So knowing how to use AutoCAD, which is a drawing program that you can turn into machine code, I cut any shape. So anything that I can come up with. As for the coloring in the background, I figured out a way, which is my proprietary method, to be able to print onto the aluminum by using a secret formula.
I like that secret. Yep.
Well, I'll say that it's a form of sublimation printing.
So you've got, if we take those printed reels as an example, I can see that for instance, you've got a sort of standard reel with let's call it the radiation kind of logo, three triangles cut into it at the top. And then underneath that on the lower platter, you've got the image. So that lower platter is just a solid aluminium circle, is it? And then you've got the cutout on top. Is that right?
That's right. That's exactly right. The back flange is solid.
That's the right word, flange. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So these reels, unless someone asks me, and because I'm really flexible, right? I'm a one-man operation. So if someone asks me to cut both sides because they need to flip their reels over, okay, I'll do that. But I think that most people, or a lot of people, don't have, they have auto reverse, or they're using a 10-inch machine that they don't really flip the reels over that much. Occasionally I run into someone that wants both sides cut, and I'm happy to do it.
But it reveals the image as the tape comes off as well. I can see that if it's on the, or disappears if it's on the take-up spool. How are they made? Are they stamped or are they etched?
They're cut with a laser.
Cut with a laser. All right. So you've got this great metal cutting laser in your backyard, have you, or something?
I have access to a laser. Yeah, no, I don't have one. It is a really big machine, but I have access to it, and so that really worked out well for me.
I've been speaking to people who've been making accessories for tape machines. And incidentally, if you're listening to this and you're a company that's producing other accessories for tape machines, please get in touch with me. Probably the best way is via the submission form on my website, realresilience.co.uk. But John, you're making reels here that are applicable to all machines, full stop. That's it, isn't it? Whether they take 5-inch, 7-inch or 10.5, you're covering all the bases, aren't you? Which is it's just great.
I was trying to, and at first was just doing the 7s when I got the original idea. I started doing these in January of 2017. And so I was, just learning then, because this was an idea I had like out of the blue. I said to my wife, look, I'm going to start a business of making these reels. And she was like, ha, ha, ha. And I was like, oh, okay. But then they started selling. And so I started the 10s, and then the 5s came about because that guy Techmoan, you know who he is? He's in the UK as well.
Yeah, that's right. I know him. Yeah.
He did the recreation of the opening scene of Mindhunters and needed the reels for that. So he tracked me down, and I made custom reels for that video of his, which led to a whole bunch of people wanting 5-inch reels. So started making those too.
Why not go where the market is?
I'm surprised how popular they are, actually.
Your wife probably thought, yeah, right, how many of those are you going to sell? There we are.
Yeah.
You proved it wrong, fortunately. That's a great thing.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to prove it wrong. I was just saying, oh, well, because of an illness, I couldn't go back to what I was doing before, and I had to do something that was like a little bit simpler. And the real idea just was appealing to me. And working out. It's great.
Where's your biggest market? Obviously, I see from your site you're doing free shipping in the States. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's free shipping in the States. And then I have like a flat rate to other international places. I sell a lot in the UK, actually. And Australia is a popular place for reels as well. That would be like worldwide. That would probably be... In Germany also, I sell there pretty often. So those countries, if you ask me, we're into the reel-to-reel action. My main market is United States. And by the way, this week on that reel-to-reel enthusiast group, I'm going to show some new work of mine, and it's pretty nice if I do say so myself.
Sounds good. You've got the flanges. I've got the name right there. Are you making the actual, for the 10.5-inch reels, are you actually making the hubs as well? Or are you buying those in?
Yes. I'm making the hubs. I 3D print them.
So that means obviously you're selling 1/4-inch, but you could make 1/2-inch and 2-inch if you want. I mean, perhaps probably two. You have, fine. I say perhaps probably 2 inches.
I haven't done 2-inch, but I have done 1-inch.
Yeah. Yeah, again, because people want 1-inch and half-inch tapes, they'll still use those on their own personal players. So there's a market for those. So you make the whole lot end to end, basically, from the hub and the flange and the designs.
Exactly. I'm not tied into any particular design. Like I can change or make new work anytime that I come up with a new idea.
Looking at your site here, some beautiful designs, but are you sticking to these kind of beautiful esoteric designs, or are you just doing the bulk standard spoked ones as we know, or the 3-slot hub? You'll make those as well, will you?
Yeah, I think there's some like that on there, and the one that I call coffins, it's got coffin shapes going around. It's like spokes, right? That's kind of a traditional style, but I like to be unique about it and veer away from what everyone else is doing.
Well, I like cool sax guy and cool bass guy. I think they're pretty good. Lovely, intricate designs of 3 bass players going round on your reels. And it's great stuff. And the guys playing the saxophone. Yeah, they're really wonderful. They're almost pieces of art, really. They are more than just the functional thing to hold the tape, aren't they?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. I consider them functional art. This is my art project. It's functional and it's my art project.
This is the Press Play Podcast, brought to you by Real Resilience.
John spoke about appearances of tape machines in films and TV series, so I've added YouTube links to these on the website blog and on the Facebook page. When you see the opening sequence of Mindhunter, you will see the reels that Matt Taylor of Techmoan wanted for his machine, and they are now available on John's site. Just search for Mindhunter. By the way, a note about the Pulp Fiction clip. Viewer discretion is advised. 1, because of the drug references and the images, and 2, that X2000 Uma Thurman uses could really do with a set of reels from John to set it off. Staying with tape recorder appearances on film, I can suggest a few instances, but I know there are many, many more. The Barbarian Sound Studio is a good one, especially if you're into Nagras. The Lives of Others, a German language film set in 1980s East Germany, sees the appearance of viewers, and tape recorders plays a central role in Amazon's The Vast of the Night, which I watched just recently. So, if you can drag your eyes and ears away from your machines going around and listening to the sound it makes, why not line up some tape machine viewing? We return to part 2 of my chat with John Farrar and start with his tape recorder collection. But listen on, as John will be offering a discount on his reels to Press Play listeners. You've got machines of your own. You mentioned that you had those. How many have you got?
I've got 4. I've got a Tascam 34. I've got a Akai GX635. I've got a Tascam 22-2. And I have a kind of basket case Akai. I don't remember what the model of that one is. It's the one with the 8-track tape in the side of it.
It's nice to actually hear variety. I mean, as I say to people, Studer Revox, especially in Europe, is so dominant. You know, they were the biggest company. But I try and open this podcast up to all machines because, you know, let's not be discriminatory here. And it's nice to hear you've got a nice selection of machines, which, with these reels on them, really would set them off, wouldn't they? Lovely.
Yeah, I think it does. And actually, some of these machines like this Akai especially, which is the GX635D, like I said, it's like a work of art in itself. It's a functional, it's functional art again, as you know, just looking at the thing, it's beautiful.
So any other plans for making, other products for the tape machine market?
I don't know what else I could do with, short of the reels, what other parts I would be making. No, I plan to continue with the reels, making cool new designs, keep changing. I don't really look at my quote-unquote competition. I try not to be influenced by anything. So
I don't think you've got competition in the real market, have you? I mean, you see sort of Basf or Revox reels come up occasionally on eBay and on the Facebook post, but these particular reels, to me, they're unique.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going for. They're unique. They're functional art. And when I look at the other people, there are other people selling reels, and most of them, they all look the same. And so that's what I'm trying to get away from, like do something that's like really different.
Price-wise, I mean, I'm just looking at them, and I think it's realistic. And you've got, say, $64.99, $75 for the with the solid flange with the images behind it. Is that what people are expecting to pay? Are they? They say, yeah, for the work involved, that's a realistic price.
Honestly, I sort of went with the what will the market bear approach, and I think that really, if I start analyzing this business like a businessman, maybe my prices are a little low, but just the aluminum itself is expensive, and then all the laser time and me printing stuff, and I like to do funky packaging, and so if you look for Righteous Reels on eBay, you'll see that there's a lot of happy people from my feedback.
You said presentation. I noticed you're also doing a presentation box, a handcrafted black walnut box. So people would want to put the reel just in a presentation box, would they, rather than actually stick it on their tape machine?
It was an idea, like let's just say somebody's retiring from the recording business, or they're like a reel-to-reel enthusiast, and their wife or whoever wants to buy them a nice present in a presentation box. Yeah, it was an idea that I had, for sure. And I sold some of them. I haven't made any of those in like a year.
That's fair enough, but it's that, as you rightly say, there's a good sort of present opportunity there, and we get that with the sort of in the vinyl market. Sometimes people buy the copy of the vinyl LP and they don't even play it; they play the digital download, and the actual album sits in these sort of wall hanging. Plastic. They sit in plastic, these sort of wall hanging frames. So why not?
You don't want to You don't want to put any
No.
scratchers in that valuable vinyl, right?
Exactly. And don't want to put scratches on these valuable, beautiful reels that you make.
Well, they're made to be used, so what people do with them, I don't know. Some people have told me that they hang them on their wall. I don't know.
Well, why not? So, just to recap, where are you selling these again?
On my website, which is righteousreels.com, which is, of course, my preferred method of sales, because then eBay isn't my 10% partner. But I also sell them on eBay just because I think a lot of people look for reel-to-reel equipment on eBay. And my advertising, like I said, is the reel-to-reel enthusiast groups on Facebook, which really works out pretty well, I guess, because who else would I be selling to, right? Captive audience, it's very niche.
Yeah, exactly. Go where the market is. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you very much for your time. I think they're a great product, and I'm going to look to invest in a couple for my machines. I've got a, last podcast I said I've got a B77, Revox B77 that, for want of a better word, I've been blinging, adding a bit of extra different lights on it. I've changed the counter, I've changed all the meter colours and that kind of thing, because I just want it as a machine to go in the living room rather than something that's just functional. And I think a set of these reels on here would really, really look fantastic on them, and I will be placing an order in the next couple of months, I reckon, for a couple of 10.5-inch reels. Don't know whether to go for the funky bass guy or the Oompa Loompa. I think I quite like that.
Oh
one
yeah,
as well.
the Oompa Loompa is nice.
Oompa Loompa.
But keep an eye out for this week on the Reel to Reel enthusiast group. I've got some new ones that I'm saying are pretty nice, and different, way different than anything else you'll see anywhere for sure.
Are these limited runs, or will you go back to making? For instance, I do notice on your site at the moment some of them are sold out. Is that the end of the run, or will you? If I went back and say I would like an Arches reel, which is currently sold out on your website, you go, yeah, I can make that again for you.
Yeah, that's a good question, because some of what I will repeat is because people are buying them. And then some of those ones that are sold out might be I only sold like a couple of them and I just never took it off of the website, the ones that say sold out. But a lot of those do get sold out. So I don't know how to answer the question exactly, because they are limited edition. They're limited to what I can produce as one guy doing this, and maybe they're the collectible of the future because they are so limited edition, but I don't put numbers on them and say, okay, this is one of 100 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. That's fair enough. So ultimately, if it did say sold out there, and perhaps I was willing to wait, you could make me a set of lightning bolt skulls or the real deal or something like that. If you've done the design, it's possible to get hold of them then.
Yes, yeah, I do custom work or special requests all the time, but I usually cut a large batch at once. And so let's say like every 4 weeks or so, I'm making a new run, and which will be an assortment of 10s and 5s and 7s. And so if someone wants something custom, it could take up to a 4-week lead time.
Good things in life are worth waiting for.
I do have another idea that you asked me if I was going to do anything else. I think since I did work out this printing on a reel, people who release music on tape, I could print their name, their logo, lyrics to a song, whatever, on the front flange, whatever they would want. So, but I've yet to tap into that market exactly.
I've got some contacts for you. So, I mean, that's the great thing about this hobby or genre, really. We're all friends in it, really, and we'll try and help ourselves out. But yeah, I know of a few of the companies and contacts who are making the pre-recorded tapes. So yeah, it could be an option for them.
Or like studio names, and, that's another possibility that use tape. As an aside, I would like to offer a coupon code for my website. If you put the coupon code Clams Casino in the coupon code box, you'll get 10% off.
So can you just spell that?
Clams, like, clams that live in the sand, and casino,
All right.
like a casino where you gamble, and it's all one word.
Okay, so that's Clams Casino, and we can put that in the coupon code on the website. So that's open to anybody who's listening to this. It will be there pretty much forever. So is that okay to anybody who listens to this and puts that coupon code in the future? That'll be valid, will it?
Maybe. I don't know. Not really sure.
Well, there we are. There's a good reason there to not to delay. If you're listening to this and you want your 10% off your Righteous Reels purchase, don't delay. So if you're listening to this, say, in a year's time, you might have missed the bus.
Maybe, but who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
John, thank you very, very
I don't know what day of the week it is anymore.
Yeah, I know.
Would be on there.
With everybody still locked down, yes. John, thank you very much for your time. It's
nice talking to you.
It's lovely talking to you. You look after yourself, and you
too.
take care,
Stay safe.
And I hope everything works out well for you, and all power to Righteous Reels. Please take care.
Thanks
a lot.
Bye.
It was an absolute pleasure to talk to John, and very generous of him to offer a discount off his reels to Press Play listeners. A reminder of how to get that discount. At checkout, go to the discount code box, enter Clams Casino as one word to get that 10% off. I have a pair of Oompa Loompa reels on their way to me from John, which will look great on my B77 Lounge listener. Incidentally, I'm after 2 front panels for this machine, as the current ones are badly scratched. So, if you have panels for a B77 Mark II high-speed machine, that's the 7.5 and 15 IPS version, and in great condition, please drop me a line as I'm in the market. I've also got a Ewer 4000 report, and a pair of John's Mindhunter reels will set that off too, so that's a possible purchase. Take a look at Mac Taylor's Tecmo recreation of the opening sequence of Mindhunter, and of course the original. It's fascinating the effort Matt went into to recreate the details. As a result, I've fallen in love with the machine featured in the sequence, the Sony TC510-2. Time to hit the auction sites, methinks. So that's it for this episode of Press Play, the podcast dedicated to, as it says on the leader tape, all things tape and tape recorder. We've made it to 10, and I want many more episodes to come, as I hope you do too. I can't create this podcast from nothing, so once again I thank all those who have appeared so far, and I plan to be speaking to many more of you in the future too.
Find Real Resilience on the web at realresilience.co.uk and on our Facebook page, Real Resilience.
Tape on the TV, recorders in our homes or studios. We all know why we love these machines, so let's keep it real.